Hey, it's Sunny here, and if your first playthrough of Hollow Knight was anything like mine, chances are it involved you dying again and again. I'm here to see if I can help you die maybe a little less, particularly if you're headed for the game's Dream No More ending. You're going to be headed to the two final bosses of the base game, that being the Hollow Knight and the Radiance. These two can be quite a challenge, but I'm here to offer you some advice. So sit back and enjoy. So going into the Hollow Knight fight, I would recommend bringing along Mark of Pride, Steady Body, Strength, Grub Song, and Quick Slash. When you have all nail, spell, and mobility upgrades, the Hollow Knight kinda should feel like a pushover. But that's totally fine, because the name of the game here is mobility. When you see an attack telegraphed, you'd nearly always be jumping and preparing for a nail pogo. There are, of course, times where you should use your Shade Cloak, like when the Hollow Knight throws the Cascade of Infection at you. But don't rely too heavily on it, since it has downtime and you could end up taking damage you don't want to. Be sure not to attack the Hollow Knight when it has its guard up, or it will strike back in a fairly hard to dodge attack. Taking damage in this fight is absolutely forgivable, as you have a surprisingly large amount of time to heal. I find myself healing most frequently when the Hollow Knight is stabbing itself. Also, know that any hit damages it by only 1 HP in that state, so you're not going to get a ton of damage in anyway. Now, go ahead, follow Hornet's instructions, and get good against the Radiance. Now, I find that the Radiance is a different kind of fight compared to anything else in Hollow Knight. While for most of the game you're trained to go on the offensive, you're fighting a god now, so it's time to play a little defense. This is the kind of boss where you need to know exactly how to deal with every single attack, so allow me to go over that. I try and dash toward the light spheres, always making sure that I'm not underneath them when they start moving. For the horizontal swords, find the opening and dash through. If all else fails, you are actually able to Shade Cloak through them. For the vertical swords, I again recommend you find an opening. I warn against, however, trying to use the Shade Cloak here, as you can very easily incorrectly estimate your dash length and end up taking unwanted damage. Simply Shade Cloak on through the light walls, and if your Shade Cloak hasn't reset, Descending Dark is going to do the trick for you as well. The sword's Starburst attack should be pretty simple. Just find a gap in the swords. The lasers are nearly the same as the sword's Starburst, but they have easier tells and happen 3 times instead of once. What's important is that you don't get flustered by getting hit, and don't force any heals. The opportunity will come, I promise. Once Rad starts her Sword Rain phase, just try and get in a Nail Strike in between every wave of swords and you should do just fine. But again, prioritize defense. After the Void Tendrils grab the Radiance the first time, you can use that time to get yourself back to full health before the platform phase. After you're done healing, climb on up towards the platform phase and get yourself on the lowermost platform, as she'll almost always appear there first. You can attempt to time an Abyss Shriek with her appearance, but the timing can sometimes be strange, so you may end up wasting soul just like I did there. For the rest of the phase, just deal with the Radiance's attacks as you would normally. I find that her 8-way lasers is a fairly good attack to punish on, as you can just kind of stay underneath her and fairly easily get out of the way. With any luck, after a good number of nail swings and spells, the climb phase should begin. At this point, the fight is basically over. Radiance will shoot lasers at you as you climb, but she has very poor aim, so you don't need to worry about it too much. Obviously, don't become careless, but this climb should really be a cakewalk. Once at the top, just whack her once with your nail, and you're all done. You've defeated the Radiance, and put an end to the light plaguing Hallownest. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I hope this video was helpful, informative, or entertaining to you. And until next time, I'm Sunny the Bunny. Peace.